Hello YouTube, this is part 2 of my Dark Masters arc review. After Puppetmon is destroyed, the forest goes, and we get introduced to our next, they get to their next territory, which this arc pretty much focuses more on the group that's left that didn't separate, which is Kari, TK, Izzy, Sora, and Ty. Since me, Joe, and Matt are all separated, Kari gets sick, which causes Ty to become really overprotective. And Izzy and Ty go try finding medicine in the city, and Izzy tries using his computer to find places like hospitals, but not knowing to him, Digimon uses his minions, which are Hagurumon, which are like 3 gears. The middle gear is has a face on it. Are pretty much tracking their signal, and Digimon sends all his forces to them, which he sends Tankgermons, Mechanorimons, Guardamons, Megadramon, and Gigadramon, which he has quite a lot of forces. Izzy gets quite smart and sets up like other sources to make his forces think, hey, that we're all across like the board, and it gets Digimon quite pissed off because it makes perfect sense because Digimon is pretty much hates most of his minions. Which makes sense because most minions from now have been quite dumb. Pretty much, we have Digimon pretty much just order for his forces just to pretty much level the city, which is quite an ingenious plan because if you just level up the city, you're gonna have easier chance of finding them. And Izzy and Ty go back to the house that the 3 others were in. It gets destroyed, and Ty thinks that they were destroyed. They show up, and then Digimon comes out of the ground and blows up like it was like a building that they were in, and causes them all to fall and become separated. After this, we have Ty and Izzy meeting Andromon, while Kari, TK, and Sora meeting Waryumonzamon and him slave driving Numamon to run Digimon City. Kari and they save the Numamon and Queen Kari. Oh, also in the Puppetmon arc, she was Kari who got controlled by from what I see, some for like godlike force, and it tells them why they were chosen as Digidestined because they saw this event of a Parrotmon fighting a Greymon, and little backstory of how Godamon became separated from the group, and pretty much that's it. Also, it kind of made me think if the Dark Masters were around that long ago, why weren't they around when the children were at File Island or such, or when they were in on the continent server? Why weren't they there either? But that's just for the progression of story, so I guess that makes perfect sense. So, Digimon destroys his minion Waryumonzamon, which makes sense because he got defeated, plain and simple. We learned Ty and Izzy. We learned that Andromon's been setting up like a resilience force against the Dark Masters, and pretty much Machinimon shows up again. They show up, or the rest of the Izzy and Tai get back together with Sora, Kari, and TK, and Angemon holds off Machinimon, which is quite awesome how Ultimate can hold off a Mega, which shows how awesome Angemon is as an ally. He holds him off. Kari, from what I remember, uses her crest of light and empowers Wargreymon, or causes Agumon to warp Digimon to Wargreymon and cut pretty much Machinimon into 3 and kills him, which I hated that he went out like this, but he had to die. But it was kind of messed up since he's my favorite, so he had to die. Pretty much with him, the city goes away. Angemon travels along with them. Then we come up to our last Dark Master, which is Piedmon. Oh yeah, let me explain what Machinimon. He's pretty much a mechanized dragon. He has 2 like mechanized blasters on him, and every time in his only attack, from what I remember, well, he had like 2 or 3, but his primary attack was Gigakin, and he used quite a lot. We have our last one, which is Piedmon. From what I believe, he's just a sadistic clown, and you'll learn more of why I believe that. Let's see what I remember. We have the 5 Digidestined get back to and they get, I believe they get to the top of Spiralmon, and they are greeted with Piedmon, or Piedmon coming towards them. Tai tells, I believe, Sora and I believe TK to go find Matt. I'm not sure, but I know it was Sora and somebody else. I think it was those 2. And Joe leaves Mimi since she's gathered a force of, I believe she gathered also Frigimon, Meramon, Elecmon, and I think that's it. So after that, you have this like very depressing aura that keeps going. First it starts with Matt, and Goblin breaks him out of that, and they were like in a cave that was caused by that, and then it affects Sora, and Joe and Matt help her out and bring her out of that. So they all gather back together, except for Mimi. She's still trying to get there, but she'll get there in time. We have Wargreymon fighting Piedmon, which he's kind of getting beat very badly, with pretty much his armor being kind of like broken and stuff. We also have a minion of his called Lady Devimon, which is fighting Angemon, pretty much has probably the best cat fight ever. And then she gets destroyed by Angemon, which makes sense since she's evil. Good always has to win. Garurumon comes back and repairs Wargreymon and digivolves into Metal Garurumon. Even though that they're both 2 megas, they're still getting beat quite badly. And then Piedmon pulls up a new trick out of his sleeve, which is changing stuff into keychains. He does that first to Tai and Matt and Wargreymon and Metal Garurumon. Then he does that to Andromon. And then he starts doing it to each individual Digidestined. And I think it comes down to Kari, Angemon, and TK, which then causes TK gets into danger. Angemon digivolves into Magnet Angemon, and pretty much hurts Piedmon. Causes Piedmon, or Magnet Angemon heals up everybody by using a Magnet Antidote, which is it's quite awesome because you can heal everybody from Piedmon's curse. Piedmon, not happy about this, goes attack him. Sums up, I believe he sums up like a whole bunch of Biomon. Mimi shows up. With their forces, they have a big battle. Magna Angemon uses his like ultimate attack, which is it's like Destiny Gate, which is pretty much just like this gate that's like sucked in everything, and Piedmon gets sucked into it. The only thing I always wondered about this Gate of Destiny is that I always wondered that if Magna Angemon actually ever opened it again, if there would ever be a possibility of Piedmon ever getting out, or is that just he gets destroyed? If anybody actually knows about this, please put in the comments below, because this is the biggest question I've wondered. And with Piedmon destroyed, we get to our last villain. Our last villain is Pokemon, which is pretty much gave the power to Devimon, Editmon, and Myotismon, from what I read. And pretty much he is the combination of all Digimon who couldn't Digivolve, and pretty much, in my opinion, is pretty much if you got all the emo kids in the world and combine them together, you pretty much have him connected to like a giant hexagonal thing with giant chains. He's able to de-Digivolve all the Digidestined Digimon, and then he literally makes the Digidestined into data. And pretty much the Digidestined, and he destroys the kids' tags and crest, which is pretty much a big feat because he just destroyed their tags and crest, so they can't Digivolve even further. Because after he Digivolves them, Tai just says, "Hey, we can just re-Digivolve," and bam, he destroys them. It's awesome. Then they find out their crests were inside them. All their Digimon Digivolve, and they start destroying each of Pokemon's chains. And then Pokemon has one trick under his sleeve. He decides to just blow himself up. Each of the Digimon's Digivices gather around him and enclose him, and he explodes, and it pretty much contained the explosion. Then the rail cart, that was like I think in the third episode. Yeah, third episode. They use that to go back to the railroad, but since all the Dark Masters and Evil were destroyed, time in the digital world and real world were becoming synced up. So they thought since like Izzy calculated, or somebody calculated, that they were able to spend like I think like 110 years by Digimon time, which would have been actually quite awesome. Until summer would be over. So but it sucks that they can't spend their time with their Digimon, so they leave. And that pretty much ends Digimon. That ends this part of the review. I'm going to review the Digidestined as well, and their Digimon, and anything else I liked in this show. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.